but at that time I wanted to kill him, bro. Like,
Gosh. What were some of the gems you got from that conversation and the things that you talked about?
I think the gems was more like, he was discussing, like, he's the only person that can be like, oh, I was speaking to Mandela, and Mandela was like, oh, I remember when I was speaking to Ali, and then he goes into character as well, innit? You know what I'm saying? And he does the voice, and he goes, Ali said to me, and I feel like it was like, like, it was like being like on the other side of the TV screen, you know what I mean? Like, these are people that you grew up watching, innit? So
Yeah.
even when he's talking, you're just sitting there and
You're
like
not there. Yeah.
I'm not there, bro. Like, and don't forget, this was before he was like Instagram accessible. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So it was like really, really like seeing, and I think that process inspired me, because in the UK we don't really get to see like our icons. But even if we do, they don't really like act like icons. You get what I'm saying? They just act like I've met a lot of like people in the UK that I grew up admiring, and they're just like, oh, cool, fam, safe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because we're a bit more humble in it, they don't understand the significance of the meeting, so they're probably thinking, let me not do too much. You get what I'm saying? Like, every time I've seen Kano, like, I've stand out. You get what I'm saying? I've stand out to the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna do it again when I see him next time. I've seen him again and I've stand out again. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like in America, because there's more of a culture of celebrity, like, they will take you under the wing and be like, oh, I appreciate that. Oh, thank you very much, and you can have that conversation and really get to like to appreciate the moment. You know what I mean? So it was just being there and being like, wow, like, I'm really in the presence of an icon, and he's telling me about this, and it was a big thing for me. Like, one of the things that you take with you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You did a actually, that was Will Smith. Was there anybody else after that you met within that same kind of capacity that you had an amazing conversation with?
Can you top Will Smith? I mean, I've met a lot of influential people, but I think as a black man, like, coming up and watching, that was probably like the top of. But I've met a lot of people, like, like people that are like very highly influential. Like Tim Ferriss, like James Altucher, like Ryan Hall. A lot of people who are really like, and everyone's got gems in their own capacity. But I feel like that meeting, just because of the way it manifested and the way it happened, I don't want to forget someone and then be like, oh, I can't believe you didn't mention that. I think celebrity-wise, that's probably like celebrity. I mean, the only person that I'm looking to, like, right now on the list is like Jay or Kanye. Do you know what I'm saying? Those are like, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Do you know, there's a quote that Jay said, and I wonder if this came into play, about how he is himself in any room. Any room he goes into, he never doesn't lower himself. He doesn't shake. When you're meeting these people, how do you remain yourself? Because you still bring value. You're still valuable in what you do in your space and what you've achieved. How do you not lower yourself and esteem them higher?
I think, to be honest, like, as Londoners, I think we're pretty good at doing that anyway, innit? We have too much confidence in ourselves. I even wish I was more humble at times, but sometimes I realize as well, like, you have to give people like their like grace in it. Do you get what I'm saying? But at the same time as well, if you don't communicate with them on a level that's respectable, you're not going to get the value out of the conversation, because now it's kind of like, like you said, your personal value. They obviously want to meet you for a reason, innit? So I feel like it's always important to be able to have that, and I feel like that's what makes the relationship be able to grow anyway.
True.
So, but that's something I didn't know at the time. It was just more intuitive to be like, all right, cool. Let me not lose my cool here. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me not lose my cool here. But I feel like I've grown more to understand it, to be like, all right, cool. Like, I mean, people, they're successful and they're icons and stuff, and we can acknowledge that, but they're still humans. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it all glories to God, innit? That's the only person that. Or that's the only place where we can kind of like fully like submit,
Good. Let's talk about marriage. What does your wife think about your paragraph tweets?
Bro, I swear, she's like my editor. You know that, right?
No
it's
way.
Like, nah, yeah, none of these posts make it to the public without her approval. Do you get what I'm saying?
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, even though sometimes one of them have gone like done pretty well, and she was like, "You're making it seem like I'm a horrible person." And I was like, "No, it's not." Like, so there was one about us living together, in it. And then afterwards, even though she'd read it before I posted it, but obviously because it got a lot of attention and people were saying, like, the response was like, "Oh man, this is why I can't live with someone. This is why I can't live with someone." And she comes to me and says, is it really that bad living with me? Is that? And I was like, but we read this together. This was not what we were trying to communicate in it. You know what I mean?
What made you start that? Was that just a spur of the moment thing?
It was actually her, to be honest. It's wrapped in an amalgamation of things. So basically, over the lockdown, I took a writing course at Stanford. Like I said, I've been writing a lot. Like I'm working on like writing more, and I wanted to kind of like explore more what I was learning within the course in terms of writing. So then she was like, she's been saying for ages that, oh, you should write something about marriage. And I was like, nobody wants to hear about marriage. Like, why? Like, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, no, but you're a guy, you're married. And I said, that's why guys don't want to hear about marriage. You get what I'm saying? And so then when I'd been writing this stuff, what happened was I posted a tweet about 3 years ago about just me and my wife. It was like, oh, me and my wife. This was a time when she was pregnant. And I remember we woke up once in the middle of the night, innit? And instead of going back to bed, we were just talking because she was pregnant and we couldn't sleep. And I tweeted like, being like, oh, be married to your best friend is so lit. And I remember it went super viral. And then this same year, it went viral again for some random reason, innit? And I was like, this tweet is cool, but it's not really representative of like marriage in its entirety, because everyone's like goals. So then you get what I'm saying? So then she was like, all right, okay. And she goes, okay, you should write something if you feel that passionate about it. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me write something about it. And that's where the first, like, let me tell you something about marriage, that kind of springboarded it. Kind of, I wrote it, and then she was like, oh, this is quite good, you know, like, you know, and then following up, it was just like, all right, cool. Let me just explain a bit more. And it's weird because, and I'll tell you, I kid you not, this is why I continue, because the man them started hitting me up. Like, you know what I mean? These are guys that would be like, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. This means a lot to me. And like, it's different when like I expected it to resonate with some women, you know, just because I think women are more invested in working on a marriage. You get what I'm saying? But when the man them started hitting me up, like, bro, I can't believe this helped me so much. Then all of a sudden it was kind of like, all right, cool, maybe I'm actually doing something here. You know what I mean? Because we don't really talk about that stuff. Now in the WhatsApp group, we actually have conversations about marriage and all them kind of things. You know what I mean? Because I remember part of the post was inspired by the young boys were also like, bro, like, tell us something about marriage. You know what I mean? So all of those things kind of came together in my head, and that's where the writing started coming, and it's just being fueled by the fact that we're actually talking about it now. So I'm like, okay, cool, it actually is relevant to us in some way, you know what I mean? So, and like people, like I've had people like that don't even comment on my shit. Like people I know message me, voice note me privately, like being, bro, like you're helping me out right now. I can't even lie to you. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, cool.
Mudipe says you're definitely doing something. It came at the perfect time.
No,
indeed.
thank you very much, man. And off the back of that, I can't let my brothers down in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've gained a passion for it, and also another thing about me is I've always been into like romance and love stories and stuff. You get what I'm saying? So I kid you not, about a year ago, I finished writing like a 500-page like love story novel. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I love stuff like that. But I mean, it was whack, you know what I mean? But I've always said to myself, like, I want to write about love, but there was never like an entry point for that. But I really love being encapsulated in stories. Like I grew up reading books like that, like frivolously, you know, like that was a proper thing of mine.
Someone says, but we know very little of the realities of it, in that's relation to marriage. Yeah.
Do
you sometimes feel
show the real side?
Do you sometimes feel pressure to write stuff? Like if you wanted to stop, could you stop?
I feel like there is a bit of pressure. I don't know where the pressure's from, but I feel like it's a bit on myself. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I feel like I'm saying something, it's helping people. Like I should do what I can to continue. I feel like just because of where I am in my life, I go to other people like for advice about things online. I go to other, you know what I mean? And it actually helps me, you know, I read things about like, you know, like about faith, you know, about like grief and, pardon me, and it actually helps me. So I'm like, if I have the capacity to do that for someone else, like, what is stopping me from doing that?
Yeah, definitely. What has been one of the greatest lessons you have learned from marriage? So how long have you married?
Married 5 years, been together 13.
Wow. So not just marriage, but relationship and marriage. What's one of the greatest lessons that you've learned?
The greatest lesson that I've learned. That you have to be willing to stick with it. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, marriage is not, it's not something that just happens, you know. This is the kind of thing, like, I always think we love each other, you know, or like we have the same interests, everything else just fall into place, innit? See what I'm saying? There's so many times where it's been like we've had a fight over something or something, and it's new. It's always like sometimes these are things that we've been together 13 years and we still have arguments over new things sometimes. And I realized the biggest strength in our relationship is that both of us have always been like, whatever it is, we're gonna work on it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like that's one of the things, you have to be willing to stick with it and work with it. Like, you know what I mean? That has to be like a foundation principle that both of you don't understand. Not saying that things don't go their own way and not work out sometimes, but there's never a problem that we've come across and the resolution is like, all right, cool, man. I think an option here right now is that we need to end this. It's like, it's the first point of contact is like, how do we work on this? You know, our conversation comes from a place of, what are we going to do to work on this? Who needs to work on this? You know what I mean? Even in anger, it's never like, I'm done with this. It's like, cool. This is going to be stressful, but we're going to have to figure out how to work on this. And I feel like that's one of the things that's really, really, really helped us from when we got into a relationship. It was never on my mind like, all right, cool. We need to take a break. We need to, even when it's been hard, we've stuck through, you know, 3-4 days of being angry at each other. It's like, cool, let's work on it.
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah. I think that is something that your tweets really do help to promote, that it's a work in progress. I've been married for...
You're bringing out the fingers, you count it now.
9 years. So it's so true that to stay in power is in the willingness to keep on, let's go again. Because, it is literally two people from different backgrounds, experiences, traumas, coming together and trying to make this thing work. Something you've never done it before. So why would you think it's not going to be a walk in the park? But it's a constant choice of saying, we're going to make this work. I choose to make this work.
Yes, with you. You know what I mean?
With you. I choose. It's hard. You're difficult. You're annoying me. But my overall and underlying decision has always been, I'm going to choose again to make this work. And that does take a lot. But
it does.
That's the burden that comes with this choice. That I said that choice, I made that choice, and I'm going to uphold that choice. And you've got to take that through the ups, you've got to take that through the downs, through sickness, through health, through children. It's a choice. It's a choice you make in your heart that we're going to finish. The only way we're getting out of this is one of us has to leave this earth. But we've got
made that commitment.
But we're gonna find one way or another to make this work. And I think sometimes people they don't make that choice for whatever reason, but they choose to say, nah, I can't do this. And hey, but I think you've got to make that decision and commitment. But yeah.
And I mean, some people try to make it work, but I think
exactly.
as well,
it doesn't work.
We're overwhelmed with options, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like we live particularly in a society of privilege where it's always like, the grass might be greener on the other side, or let me see. I feel like a lot of people go into marriage still with options on their mind. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like that's one of the things. It's like I feel like you have to go into marriage being like, I cool, like there's no options here. It's like this is the path we're taking. You know what I mean?
That's
Not
deep.
we'll take this road and then halfway through, you get what I'm saying? I feel like that's why I think it's so important to highlight what marriage is about, because I feel like I go into it with that I can deal with this for, you know what I mean? As opposed to I know I'm gonna have to deal with this for this long time. So
Wow.
you know, and I
Wow.
feel like I feel that's the decision you have to make before you go into marriage. It's not like how am I feeling? It's like how am I committed? You know, I feel like a lot of people go off their emotion of like, I want to be with this person forever, but it has to be a very logical, I'm going to be with this person forever.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I
Trust.
feel like, yeah, so then you're not looking down the road being like, oh, I'm stuck here, you know?
Yeah, that's deep. What would you whisper to yourself in your ear? Your 5 years here. What would you whisper to yourself at the altar to help you go through your 5 years so far?
I would have at the altar. What would I have said to myself? That's a good question. I think it would have been like, don't have any expectations. Like, don't have too many expectations. You get what I'm saying? You know, I feel like when you remove like all them expectations, you're in a position now to kind of like learn and grow, and you know what I mean. But I feel like some people go in there thinking, okay, I'm gonna live with her. It's gonna be like living with, you know, like my mom. She's gonna cook, clean, do my washing. Do you get what I'm saying? And some guys go into the relationship thinking, okay, cool, we're married now. No more sneaking around, sex every night. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, nah, do you see what I'm saying? And she might go into the relationship thinking, okay, cool. I mean, some people go into a relationship thinking, okay, and I think women, what I found with women as well is like, not necessarily women, but I find that like my wife would go into a relationship assuming that I understood what her husband was the same way she understood what a wife was. You get what I'm saying? When I first got married, my assumption was like, all right, cool, we're doing the same thing we've always done, except for we're married now. Do you get what I'm saying? Her assumption was now, okay, he's my husband now, and I'm his wife. You know, dynamics change, different things need to take place, and I feel like these expectations that we don't discuss beforehand. I just thought marriage would just fall into place, just a more extended version of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? But it is in terms of like the fun stuff and all the things you do. But then in terms of like the growth stuff, it's a bit different. You know what I mean? Because now you're literally growing together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not just supporting each other to grow, as you're growing together. And I think that really changes the dynamic as well. And that's when you become husband and wife, not just like partners, you know?
100%. What would you whisper in her ear to help her through the next?
I'd say to her, not that he's not ready, but I'd say you'd say to him, yeah, he's got a lot of learning to do. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think you tell him that he's got a lot of learning to do in terms of like learning what you expect from a husband, because for me, I'm not and in terms of, that's what my wife always says. She always says like, in terms of like as a person and what you contribute, like, as I can't complain about that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But as a husband, one of the things that I probably fell short was, I was kind of like, whatever goes, in it. Do you understand? I wasn't invested in decision making, you know what I mean? Whereas she would want me to be, so to reassure her with the decision she was making.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, because it's not that I don't treat her well, but she was like, could you just be a bit more invested in this? You know what I'm saying? Bro, I'm bad, and we'll probably talk about this on Clubhouse on Saturday. We bought our house, you know what I mean? And she did everything to do with the house. Yeah, I mean, we bought the house, and I was like, okay, here's my money, here's your, you know what I'm saying? We turned up at the house we bought, yeah, and I thought we bought a different house for some reason. I was like, okay, is this the house that we bought? We were laughing about it today.
So that's not the house you thought it was.
Okay, so it's kind of like it was a lot of things at once, but I was never like that deep invested into like that part of the thing. So it was like, it's hysterical because we walked past, because in our neighborhoods there's different types of houses. So we walked past one today, and I was like, oh, I thought we were moving into that one. And she was like, how are we going through like months of like, doing all these documents and all this stuff, and you were still in confusion about which house we were gonna get. Do you understand? So it's kind of like, because bro, like one of the things that I'm working on as well, and it's one of my strengths, but I'm always in 10 years ahead of whatever we're doing. Do you get what I'm saying? So she would be like, she's always like, she's very like detail orientated, doing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm always just like, all right, cool. Here's the money you need. Here's my half. Here's whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, but as a husband, like she want me to, not necessarily, she want me to be more responsible with those decisions. So when she makes them, she knows that she has my trust. I trust her wholeheartedly. But sometimes it's nice to know that someone else is invested. Yes, and now we have a child. I think that's when it became apparent, because it was like, okay, let's look for schools for him. And I'm like, all right, cool, just let me know what schools it is, and I'll come and I'll look at the other time. But she's like, it would be nice to have you part of that process. So it's never about, am I not emotionally or financially invested? It's more about like cognitively being aware of the processes, and I think that's where I'm trying to learn as a husband to do those kind of things.
Yeah, I need to. You saying that, I need to do that. I think you're shouting at me as well. I need to, because I think there's certain things I see my wife do, and she's just good at. So yeah. I think, oh, okay, well, I think, okay, you take care of that, because I was just
going to say, take care of this. Yeah, but, exactly.
But I think that's just being lazy. I think I need to just still whatever part I can.
Yeah, you know what I realized, bro? Sometimes it's like, I spoke to my wife about it, and she was like, you don't have to do it, yeah, but you at least have to like show an interest, because when she makes the decision, she knows that she has your confidence. Obviously, she knows it, but it would be good to feel it along the process, isn't it? Because I realized, like, just because like you're good at something doesn't mean it's you don't need reassurance. Like my wife is the best project manager on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, she works for so many different people. So, what I mean? She's exceptional at that kind of stuff. But even when it comes to doing stuff for the house, she'd like me to be like, and also because she respects your opinion. You get what I'm saying?
True.
So sometimes she and this is why you're married, you're a husband, because she trusts your opinion. She didn't just pick anybody. So sometimes she wants you to come in and validate certain things, even though she might disagree with you. And it makes her feel like she's not in it alone, especially when you start having children, bro.
True.
Especially, you know what I mean?
So they be preaching right about now.
Now we're all learning, bro. We're all learning, cuz. We're all learning, man.
I won't keep it too long. You said a quote in a interview. You said, no, not in an interview. It was in a tweet. That's it. You said, we internalize emotions that eventually clog up the machine, and then everything shuts down. And recently you took time away because of things that you were internalizing. And I want to ask, what were those things? What were the things that you kept keeping inside that made you kind of shut down?
I don't even think I'm ready to even talk about it yet.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I feel like
Pass card is there.
I think I need to sit down with a therapist and really break all of that apart before I could even articulate and do it justice here. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I have to run that pass card. But I just say, people, like, let's take care. It goes back to what we were saying about ambition, innit? Sometimes we're so far ahead of and pushing ourselves so much that we don't realize the damage like we're doing to ourselves in that capacity.
I know you want to have therapy. Did you feel there was any stigmas around therapy?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I always just thought like, I mean, it's broken down over the years, but I was still very much like, I told you, I was speaking to my boy like a week or so ago, and he was like, bro, have you got therapy? I said, bro, when I make some money, I'll sit down and tell someone these are all the problems I had. Do you get what I'm saying? Because when I'm chilling on a yacht, I tell man, like, oh yeah, by the way, I was stressed and I ain't got time for that. But bro, it's important, man. But I don't think, especially, I didn't realize how powerful my own mind was. You get what I'm saying? Like, I always like, I know where it comes from a creative standpoint, how powerful it is, but I didn't realize how powerful it was from like, from an internalizing how much is stored inside it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with stuff like grief, you don't know that your body's moving, but your mind is processing all of that and putting it inside you. It's carrying it very heavily. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize how powerful my mind was, to the point, bro, I didn't know you could have like mental things that triggered like physical symptoms. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't. People don't understand. So when people were talking about mental health, I was just like, all right, cool. You know, like, you know, make sure you talk to a therapist, sleep on time, all that kind of stuff. You know, I didn't realize that, you know, your mind can trigger like physical reactions in your body. You know, to be like, all right, cool. Like, you know, you hear about people having like all these panic attacks and all these kind of things. You don't realize that this is all mental. You know what I mean? So you have to take care of your mind. Like, even like, I was getting back into exercise today, and normally I'm exercising to be like, all right, cool. You know, let's see the biceps. Let's see if they're getting the body in shape. Today I was just like, I'm exercising because I know it's healthy for my mind. Do you get what I'm saying? I know that it does something for my mind. It calms my mind to be doing exercise, and I think that's a different approach that I'm learning. But before, it was, bro, like, especially during lockdown, corona, like, we're dealing with a lot of stuff that we're not processing. We just keep on moving, you know. And I feel as a creative, as a hustler, it's like keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. But bro, like, it's like all this baggage is weighing down on you. You know what I'm saying? And you're only human, bro. And sometimes you have to give things to God. You know what I mean? I'm always like we think we're in control of 80% of it, you know, but really we're in control of 20% of what happens to us. 20%, the rest is with God. You know what I mean? I'm always thinking, bro, I'm always calculating move after move. So I'll be like, okay, when I do this what's going to happen, and that person's reacting, this is going to happen. What do I know, bro? Like, I only know what's happening right here and right now. You know what I mean? And that's what I was not appreciating. I was very bad at mindfulness. Now I'm taking it in. Bro, like, I would like, people would come to our house and be like, oh, I really like this. How long have you had it for? And I'd be like, oh, I think we only got it for like a month ago. And my wife would be like, you know, it's been here for like 2 years. Bro, like, wow. It's only now that I realized that, like, and she said it for a long time. And I think it's one of the things that have helped me be great. But at the same time as well, I think if I learn a balance, I can be even greater. Because, bro, it's like, it's only now that I'm realizing that I'm never in a room. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I'm always, my mind is always somewhere else. When I was sleeping, the bed was just an opportunity to be like, all right, cool, where can I explore now? Do you get what I'm saying? My mind is all, and I think these are things that no one teaches you, to calm, you know, like to smell what's around you, you know what I mean? Look at what's, you know, bro, I'm never, like, sometimes, like, I came into my office today and I tidy up for occasion, but today I deliberately tidied it up because usually it may be in a state, but I'm not in here. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm physically in here, but my mind is like somewhere else. Do you know what I'm saying? And these are things that I'm learning about, like, mental. Like, we got rid of our carpet, and I came in one day. I was like to my wife, oh, so where did the carpet go? And she goes, you know, it hasn't been here for months. Like, you know, bro. So it's really like,
wow.
Yeah, so the brain, like, you really have to, like, we really need to, like, be important and take care of it, man.
Yeah. Olufemi says, the brain is a muscle of immense magnitude, and the connotations of how it impacts other parts of the body, many are unaware of. Even in terms of the microaggressions we experience by growing up, some of us don't even know what we've been through.
We don't, bro. We don't. We're, you know, yeah, that's profound. You know, like, we're hurt in places and we don't even know. You know, we're walking around injured mentally, and we don't even know. And it's like, you know, if you're walking on a broken leg, you know, what's going to happen?
And, you know, I started therapy this year.
Oh, that's good, bro.
Because of, it was funny because of Clubhouse, actually. There was a Clubhouse conversation going on, and it triggered me. I was like, why is this triggering me for? The conversation ended, and I was sitting in my room. I was like, is this affecting me? I said, nah. I saw a tweet about a friend. One of my friends tweeted about therapy. I went into their DMs. I said, yo, who's your therapist? Yeah. And I got a hold of the therapist, started to have sessions. And just like Olufemi said, you don't know what you've been through. Yeah. We started to talk. Sometimes I would cry. And I'm like, why are you crying? Sometimes I would be talking, but mid-sentence realize what the effect of that had, and how I was playing it out now in today. So, you know, it's always down to an individual choice, but I personally have found that there's so, like you said, there's so many things and compartments in our mind where we've locked things
Yeah,
that one day you're going to have to bring out that whole box, and it's either that you've already unpacked them, so you've got less boxes,
yeah.
or you're just going to come with so many suitcases.
And then
And
and it's tumble down the stairs.
you're
Yeah,
gonna-
you know what I'm saying? But
so the idea is that
that's
get
it.
rid of as many suitcases as possible, and you'll open up some and it's packed. You'll open up some and there's just a t-shirt there, but at
Yeah,
least you know there's a t-shirt there. You've
yeah.
unpacked it, looked at
That's
it,
a great metaphor,
you know,
bro.
kind of
Yeah,
accepted it. So
that's it, bro.
mad. Um, Lastly, then, I want to look at your legacy, and you're someone who thinks 10 years, you know, way down there. What is a life motto that has helped you through your life and is always kind of thinking forward?
Um, but I think I've changed it like in the past week. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
I'm not even trying to like, and maybe it will change next time we speak. In it, do you get what I'm saying? But I'm not even trying to like think past like today. Do you get what
Today,
I'm
yeah.
saying, bro? I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. You get what I'm saying? I'm not even. Obviously, I know that I have ambitions and all that, but I think one of the things that I want to learn from experience I've been through and to take right now is that you're only in control of the moment, innit? The most important thing is the moment. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Mm,
And I feel like this is not gonna. I haven't lived by this, and it's not gonna define me right now. But this is how I feel right now. Like, do you get what I'm
mm,
saying? Like, just take the moment. You know, take like, bro. Like, I just woke up like just grateful. You know, I can smell this. I can see this. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like. I'm really trying to focus on.
mm. Do you know, I really relate with that because I'm like you. I'm hardly in the room.
Um,
So, and it was only maybe a week ago actually. I started this thing in our house where we've got on the fridge. It says the date and it says I feel. You can just write. Anybody in the house can write how they're feeling.
yeah,
And I realized that I wrote one day, I'm just grateful for today, and I'm just going to focus on this moment
yeah.
here, this 24 hours. Because I'm someone who's thinking, what's going to happen next week? What's that? Oh my gosh, how am I going to do that?
Bro,
What about,
you're a hustler, innit? Do you understand what I'm saying?
you know
You're
what
a
I'm saying?
hustler. We're always, you know what I mean? You're a
What's going to
hustler.
happen
You
to my
always think,
daughter?
yeah, bro.
How am I going to
You,
get her into uni? I remember, bro,
what's gonna
before she
happen
was,
when she brings? What guy she gonna bring? You know, what about her
before she
husband?
was
Is he gonna
born,
like me? You know what I'm
bro,
saying?
before she was born, I remember a week, 2 weeks before she was born, I messaged Eddie Caddy. I messaged him,
Yeah,
and I was like, I think I was tense. I was so tense because I was thinking I was doing 50 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour of.
yeah,
My mind went to what? What's the first car that she's gonna have?
yeah, bro. You're good. You're good. Yeah, you're
I was
good.
like, what uni is she gonna go to? Like, is she gonna have student loan, or we're gonna give her the money, or what about her house deposit? Like, how am I gonna get her money from?
Well, yeah, you're good, fam.
And Eddie,
Yeah.
I spoke to Eddie. I spoke to Carloco. Carloco, I met with him as well, and
Oh,
he was just like, bro, bring it back,
mm.
bring it, can't bring it here. We're not. Calm
Bro, get your
down.
first gear, bro. You know, get your foot on the clutch first, bro.
And the more every single time I think like that, I remember that conversation, and it's about. It literally is about what do we have now.
Yeah,
Right now, it's 10:20. It's Thursday evening. We're on this Insta live, and we're alive. Our family is good. My daughter is sleeping. My wife is upstairs. I came home from shopping. My car is outside. I have a roof over my head. I ate this evening. I'm good, and soaking that up and smelling that and being like, yeah,
yeah.
today was a good day. Are there things to worry about tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to midnight, and then we'll get into
And
that.
then we'll think about it. Do you understand? That's one of the things I'm even trying to do. But like when I lay down on the bed it's like, okay, I'm lying on the bed. You know, sometimes when you lay down on the bed, you're just lying down and your head's up. It's like, I'm on the bed now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on the bed. My body's
That's
in the
deep.
bed. It's you know, and those are the things I'm trying to take on myself. You know what I'm saying? And these are the things I want to be able to teach my son. You know, because God forbid he has to grow up and have to struggle. Because the thing about dealing with something mentally is that you feel like you're alone in it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's in your head. Like no one else can be in your head with you. And I feel like I'm fortunate as a young man, that might be one of the scariest places to be. You know what I mean? That as a young woman, that's one of the scariest places to be, because you turn left, you turn right, your head, you know what I mean? You walk out that door, it's still there. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things I want to be able to. If I have to go through what I have to go through, so I can then impart that on him to let him know that, listen, you don't have to take on all these responsibilities. You don't have to do this. You know, you don't have to answer interviews that ain't even already happened yet. You know what I mean? Then, you know, then as a father, that's something that I can give to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So so I think that's the motto that I'm like now. And what you find is, as a creative, I'm scared. I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna take away from this or it's gonna take away from that. But I'm like, what you start to find is that you, the things you do, you put more into them. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You put more into them because they're right here and they're right in front of you. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's the mindfulness. That's a term that I've just been trying to encapsulate this week, man. Just really like put in there, and it's powerful, man. It has such a powerful effect.
100%. Modupe says mindfulness is key. I'm going to just end by just a few questions that people had.
Cool.
Let's take this question here. JK, General. What made you decide to get married after being together for so long?
Oh, you lot are getting into the clubhouse conversation. No, I always wanted to marry my wife. You know what I mean? It was never a debate. To be honest, I would have married her earlier, and she, in her maturity, because I'm Muslim, so I come from a household where it was kind of like, if you're with a girl doing like intimacy, it has to be a thing where, like, you know, you're building towards marriage anyway. But it was only in her wisdom where she was like, listen, we're kind of young to get married. And then when I moved past that initial reaction of what my mom gonna think, I was like, yeah, we are kind of young to get married. And then it kind of then it got to the point where she started saying, oh, when are we gonna get married? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it was always gonna happen. I feel like we got to a point where we understood. So it wasn't like I wasn't waiting for it. It just became, I don't know what happened. I knew I was going to marry her. I wasn't waiting for the right time, but I just naturally evolved into that time where we was at our lives, you know, what we were doing. And it kind of just became like, I knew who I was and she knew who she was. And it was kind of like, all right, cool. So if we're at that stage, I guess that's when it's like, it's time for you lot to come together. Before all of that, I was still discovering who I was. I was still trying to make things come together. And she was with me through all that journey, but we were still very much needed to grow as individuals. And I think we got to a point where it was like, okay, we're overgrowing as individuals. Let's kind of like come together and you know,
make it work.
But I think that development process, you need to know who you are. You don't want to get 10 years into a marriage and like, this is, I mean, people change, but like, okay, this is not who I was. I got married. I didn't know who I was. Now I know who I am. I want to, you know, like when at the point I got married, I had no other, like, I just speak candid because I'm a man. Like, I had no other desire to, like, in terms of like being with other females. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I kind of knew what I wanted out of a woman. I'd got to that point in my life and it was like, okay, cool. I'm not conflicted here. I know she has what I want.
Beautiful. Another one is Sally Breaks from Official Tandy. When are we seeing another piece of greatness?
I don't know, man. The greatness is subjective, innit? I'll keep on putting it out there. Then maybe one day the audience will decide what is great and what's not in it. But the greatness is always, I feel like everything I do is great, but, you know, you put it out into the world and the world decides what defines it as greatness, you know?
Yeah. And last one is No Question from Yaksa 15. I love this dude, love his perspective and love how it personally allows me to expand my, my thoughts too. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bro, thank you for today. You didn't use pass card. No, you did once. But
I used it once. Yeah,
yes, cool. You got to keep something to yourself. Thank you for your time. Last question of all is, do you have a question from me?
Do I have a question for you?
Is
When are we
that-
gonna do this? When are we gonna do this live then? When is the live thing gonna pop back off?
Ask Uncle Boris.
You got
Uh,
music? Have you got music coming for the man then or what?
not at the moment. No,
Okay, fair enough.
I haven't written since December 2018.
You haven't written.
Mm-mm.
How do you cope with that? No. I'm curious. Like, cause what do you replace it with?
I think it's been this. I think it's been.
Oh.
I've realized, yeah, and we'll close with it. I think I realized I'm a creative. I'm not a. So my creativity comes in different forms. And so I always thought, it's music. I've got to blow. It's music. Oh my gosh, it's music. But it's not. It's just wherever the creativity is needed, that's where it flows strongest. And when I did my album, December 2018, and then I felt God say pivot. And that's when I'd already been starting doing the sit down, but pivot happened when I was just like, okay, meaning just pour a bit more time into building the sit down and everything. And then Corona happened, and so a lot of it has been channeled into conversations, trying to curate encouraging, empowering conversations on all these different platforms. And I find this is my music. This is me making music right now.
Yeah, you have to find the outlet. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think. And that's what I feel like. And this is one of the things when we talk about kids. I feel like from a certain age, we're told to channel our creativity a specific way. There's a very specific way coming from a specific community how we can channel our creativity. Do you get what I'm saying? And even like me, when I'm getting into like writing, writing long, doing all this stuff, I was like, I've always said if I hadn't come from where I'd come from, I would have always gone straight into writing. You know what I mean? I would have always gone into doing like, literature, all that kind of stuff, because that was really where my passion was. But coming from where we are, we're told how we can channel our creativity. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of being like, this is how, but it's dope because growth allows you to see that I don't have to restrict myself. And that's why I think I asked, how do you cope? Because I knew you had to be channeling it some way. You're creative. Like, you can't exist without being creative. Do you know what I'm saying? I know a creative when I see one. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I've seen your performances. I've seen the way you communicate the stuff. This is not just, okay, I'm going to spit bars. You know what I'm saying? Give it for, you know what I'm saying? So that makes a lot of sense. I think that's important. No, bro, but I think that's when our community is really going to thrive as well. When we start seeing the different extensions of how creativity manifests. You get what I'm saying? Because you're going to put the same energy into this that someone would put into making an album. You get what I'm saying? Meaning when this manifests, it's not going to manifest the same way everyone else has seen it before. It's going to have your unique ident on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, dope.
Well, thank you, bro, for 21 questions and more. Sorry it was a bit late, but I just thought let's keep the conversation flowing.
It's late, but I had to agree to it. I was on a very strict routine in it, but I know I agreed to it, so I couldn't let it go, man. But it's been I've needed it. The more I do it, it's like I've needed it, so I appreciate that, G.
Oh, good. Thank you to everyone that has joined us. Please leave a comment in the comment section how you're found today. Julia says, thank you so much. Sobering conversation.
Pleasure's all mine, man.
JK gave us some good claps. JK said, which has been so good. Thank you for listening to God Direction. Olufemi, I need to learn from the creatives. They inspired me with something new. Thank you, guys. Bro,
do I need to
so
say
much.
Something? Do I need to save something before I turn it off or something? Sometimes on the live, do I have to do anything?
Oh, no, I've got you.
Big up Dion, thanks, man. And thanks, Joseph, as well.
Yeah, anybody that came halfway through, didn't catch all of it, we're going to put this on IGTV. So literally, when this closes, it will be on our IGTV channel, and we're going to put it on YouTube and on the podcast as well. So, yeah, bro, thank you so much.
Pleasure's all mine, man.
Please say thank you to the missus
and to
your
everyone.
son.
Thank you, Kitty. Thank you, everyone. And likewise, regards to your wife and your daughter, G.
Thank you, bro. No worries. Take care, guys. Take care, bro. What do I do again? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us, man. Rachel said this was such an awesome conversation. Love this interview. What else? Official Joseph Roberts says fantastic. Olufemi says, magnificent conversation. Bree has a hand and a sofa. Big love. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us. This has been 21 Questions with Suli Breaks. Please do, if you want to check out more conversations like this, afterwards you can click on our IGTV channel or click in the link in our bio for our YouTube channel. You can watch 46 episodes of these type of conversations where we just like to have inspiring and uplifting conversations, you know. So if you're on Clubhouse, come over there, join us. Just type in the Sit Down UK and you'll find our club there, and you can see whenever we book a session. You can follow me, ICIE. I'll put that in the comment section. ICIE Music. And you can find me on Instagram, but you can also find me on Clubhouse. Oh, I'm tired. It's 10:30. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're following this Instagram page, and we're going to be back here next Thursday, 9 p.m. See you there. Take care.